Hey, AfterBuzzers, welcome to the Sharp Objects After Show. We are talking about episode 5, Closer, and this episode was all about beautiful ivory floors, ecstasy, and a whole lot of Southern pride. Stay tuned.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
So we're listening to this lovely song.
Yes.
I think it's Palante. It was played during the episode, and you are watching the Sharp Objects After Show. As always, I'm Lesley Powers. I'm joined by my lovely co-host, ladies.
Carolina Vanetti.
Hi, I'm Heather Geisler.
And I know we have a lot of people in the live chat, so if you're not in there already, Heather is going to be running that. So please join us. We're so excited. And stay tuned, because later on we have our special segment, the Feminist Chronicles, and we're going to be talking about Margaret Burke White, who is a female journalist, and sounds like she's a pretty big badass, so you want to stay tuned for that. And we also have some news about behind the scenes with director Jean-Marc Vallée, and how Amy Adams apparently thought she was a bad actor. Yes, you heard me correctly. I know you can't believe it. But stay tuned, join us in the live chat, like us, subscribe to us, and if you're on iTunes, give us that 5-star rating. So ladies, we're almost done with this series. That's crazy. We only have 3 episodes left. I know. What were some initial thoughts about this episode? Carolina, you want to kick it off?
Yeah, I was really blown away by this episode because we saw so much character development. Mm-hmm. It was the first time that we really saw Amma and Camille have like real sibling rivalry and real moments that I guess are relatable. I'm an only child, so I'm always trying to figure out sibling dynamics.
Yeah.
And man, just so many revelations into Adora's past with Camille and how she treated her almost not like her own child. Yeah. Really threw me for a loop. I knew it was bad, but it was bad.
Yeah,
it was real bad.
I really loved a lot of the scenes this episode, even though we didn't get much about the case. Mm-hmm. But Calhoun Day was crazy.
Yes.
And I felt like I agree with you that we saw a lot of the character development. So
yes, I feel like we might not ever know about the case.
I know. It's like, okay,
but
the
we'll
show
find
has
out
me
about.
Fooled. I thought it was about the case, not about the case.
Yeah.
But we'll know all about bad parenting.
Yes, we'll know what not to do as parents. Apparently, is what they're teaching us on Sharp Objects.
I will say though, I really liked the opening scene. It was so fun and lighthearted, like the girls in their costumes in the roller skates just on the porch. I was like, this is so sweet. It's the most uplifting, positive thing I've seen in this show since the beginning.
Yeah, I love the roller skating. I'd be really curious what Jean-Marc Vallée's, if that's in the book or not. Do you remember if that's in the book, Heather? The roller skating?
Don't remember.
I'm curious. Anybody on the live chat, if the roller skating was, because it's such an intimate
I have a question.
part.
Do you roller skate?
I roller blade, but I feel like roller skating is harder than roller blading.
Can you roller skate?
Yes, I can.
Do you want to have something?
I need to see roller
this.
in Glendale.
Yes.
Yeah.
We should go.
Yes.
Share some bonding photos with everyone.
In honor of you, Amma and Camille.
I can't, so I'll be there as the comedic relief, but I can ice skate. I don't know how that works. I can't roller skate, but I can ice skate.
The rollerblade is easier. I don't know.
I can't do that either. I'm really good at ice skating. Can't roller blade or skate.
Well, now you know all of our skills. You've learned all of our skills individually. So I want to talk first about this article that Camille wrote, because she was writing it in the episode last week, and then apparently now it's out in the open. And so her editor seems to be happy. He's like, it's blowing up, but I need more about the town. And she's kind of peering outside like, well, that's not going to be hard because I have crazy Confederates in my yard right now. But apparently the article talked a lot about the locals and how, everyone's kind of suspecting it's a local that did the murders. Do you guys think that was pretty bad on Camille's part to out them like that?
I think she was just doing her job. Yeah, she was just doing her job, and everyone really latched on to
the truth.
John Keene and Bob Nash. Yeah.
Yes.
They really are emphasizing just these two guys, and obviously we see them fighting later, but I think Camille is just doing her job, and I really liked seeing more of the relationship between her boss and her, and I thought it was endearing that he calls her Cubby, like, you're doing so great, Cubby. And
cute.
he, she had a panic attack this episode, and she was really freaking out, like, I need to come home. And I like that she has someone to turn to that, you know, calms her down and is the voice of reason.
Yeah, I felt like it must be so nice, even if she doesn't realize it, to have someone who loves her in her corner.
Yeah.
Because she never got that from her mother. So I felt that he really took her on as a father figure, calling her cubby, coaching her through things, trying to help. Because at first I was like, all right, buddy, you're not Dr. Phil. Stop trying to solve her problems. But now as everything develops, it makes me really second guess their relationship, and maybe he's actually a steady figure that she needed. And you see that when the article is released. You see more of her new dynamics in life with her coworker, her boss.
Yeah, what do we think about him? Because my husband's like, what's up with the silent wife who like just always like kind of
She's had her 2 cents
meandering
to
around.
say.
That's what I said. I was like, I feel like she said stuff, but I think he's sick because it looked like he was in the hospital last episode.
Yeah, I thought maybe he was getting a blood transfusion or chemotherapy, something like that.
Which
but-
could also have spurned him on to want her to fix things, because maybe he thinks he's dying.
Yeah, like
and
he's
he's afraid
sick.
that she's going to be alone if he passes.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what
That's
that's what I
smart,
think.
yeah.
It's like he's like, go make amends with your family because I might not be around forever. I definitely hear that. So Amma was also not happy about this article. So do we think she was more mad that Camille didn't like run it by her or talk to her about it? Because she's like, oh, it basically says when Gap kills their kids, and how dare you not tell me about it?
I actually had more of a selfish impression of it. I thought that Amma reacted the way that she did because she didn't know about it first. Because her
Like a
friends
sister.
text
Yeah.
it to her. And
Yeah.
she's been like, my sister's so cool. It's my sister, my
yeah.
cool sister. And then it's like, my cool sister is so cool. I was in the dark.
She wants to be the one.
She did not appreciate
We're not
that.
as close as I thought.
She wants to be the one to tell her friends about it.
Yeah.
She
Good
doesn't
point.
want to be hearing about it from her friends.
Yeah, she wants to be the alpha dog in that sense. Like, oh, I can't believe all these people are sending it to me.
She felt like Camille took her power out of her friend group, and I felt that that's where the like nasty dynamic developed that she was like jabbing her with.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I didn't think about that power thing, but they keep talking about power, so it's a good theme for the show.
Amma is cut from the same tree as Adora, man.
Big time. And then Jackie, who's turning out to be my favorite character in the
Ooh,
show.
I know. I love her glances.
She's
Great.
and she's beautiful. She's aged so well. Elizabeth Perkins. I just could watch her all day. But she says at Calhoun Day, she, you know, to give a little jab to Adora, she's like, oh, have you read Camille's article yet? I thought it was honest and refreshing. And so I feel like there's like a very like love-hate relationship between this Jackie woman and Adora. Like,
Yeah. She's like, save some alcohol for the rest of us.
yeah, like she wants to be invited over, but she
Yeah.
wants to talk crap about her too. I don't know. That was interesting.
But Adora's talked about that in the past before too, that she knows that those women just talk crap about her when she's not there. She knows. She's aware.
To me, in this episode, there was such an underlying tension between Jackie and Adora, which I'm like, well, where is that coming from?
Yes.
What don't we
Yes.
know? Like, what are the secrets?
Well, what we do know, and what we do have secrets to reveal on other shows, Carolina's going to tell us about.
Cool. I'll jump right in there. Hey, AfterBuzzers. Our network produces after shows for nearly all your favorite TV shows, from dramas, reality TV, sci-fi, and more. There is no network that works harder to serve television fans. But we need your help. So we're asking that you please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. And by subscribing to our channel, YouTube will suggest content that's tailor-made for you, and you'll help AfterBuzz continue to grow. So if you're worried about pesky notifications, don't be, because they're optional. So hit the subscribe button for this channel and check out our other AfterBuzz YouTube channels as well. Let us know you did so in the comments, and then we'll thank you right here on the air. For now, thanks for being the best fans and for helping us be the ESPN of TV talk.
Yes,
Thank you.
guys.
Is there anybody you want to shout out right now, Heather? in the live
Let's
chat?
shout out some live chatters. It is so lively today. Thank you, everyone who is in there. Speaking about Jackie, Bex Mon says, yeah, Jackie seems like a piece of the puzzle they haven't uncovered. I like that. And to go back really quick about the chemo, we have Anonyma Apilla says currently went to chemo, and Brenda GP says, yeah, I'm pretty sure he was getting chemo in the last episode. So
what
I
I
think we're
thought.
all on the same page about
Yeah,
that.
he's
so.
definitely sick. So one last thing with the article that I want to note is that John Keene's girlfriend seemed to not be happy that her stuff didn't make it in. And I was trying to rack my brain on like what specifically she told Camille that she really wanted in the article, and I couldn't remember like what like juicy gossip or anything
Right.
or anything. Well, maybe she was painting John in that picture saying, oh, people think because he's sensitive that he's guilty, but he's not.
Right. I felt like, yeah, that's a good point. But I felt like she just wanted to be in the article and she wanted a little bit of the limelight.
Okay, that makes
That's
sense.
my impression.
See, I took it as she wanted to control the narrative.
Yeah, maybe.
Because
maybe
she
both.
very much invited Camille into her home, told her version of events, gave her access to John, and then kind of painted the picture that she wanted presented. So when that wasn't even in the article, I think she was a bit enraged because she wanted to control the narrative and she didn't have that voice.
Everyone just wants control in this town.
And she seems
for
very bitchy. And also, Chief Vickery
I'm
was
telling you,
not-
I'm sticking by. It would
looks.
not surprise me if she's actually involved in these girls' deaths.
Yeah, the whole cheerleader uniform is really just bugging me.
Yeah.
Surprised she didn't show up.
Yeah,
the
she's
whole
like, I just
squad,
want to be
you're like, I'm
festive.
not ready.
Well, Chief Vickery also wasn't happy about it, and he said to Detective Willis, like, there are things you don't know about Camille, like good tree, bad apple.
Yeah.
So that brings us into the next subject of the tree being Adora, and the apple being Camille.
Adora's the whole plantation, never mind the tree.
I know she's like
She is
sitting pretty on that.
fabulous. She is fabulous.
I have to say, I loved her dress this episode. It was like perfectly little butterflies, like embroidered. It was gorgeous.
It was.
I actually really like Camille's dress. I thought she looked so nice with the hat.
I wanted to find something actually about the costume design. I'm going to keep looking out for that because I
Yes.
want to talk about that, but I haven't found anything yet.
It's
maybe
I
a little
mean-
insight into the costume design.
I thought they all looked like beautiful Southern belles.
Yeah.
I was really seeing a lot more of the. I was like, oh, Camille looks good Southern. like she doesn't look bad.
I liked her. I liked her. I thought she,
doesn't
looked
look
very
bad.
nice.
So the big scene in the middle of the episode was the dressing room scene, and this is Adora trying to find something for Camille to wear because she's like, I'm gonna wear all black to this Calhoun Day celebration, which is like a Southern Pride festival, and Adora's like, no. That ain't
Which
happening.
Camille calls a barbecue.
Oh yeah, Camille's like,
a
it's a barbecue.
barbecue.
I have
Barbecue.
jeans on.
It's not a barbecue.
yeah.
Do you mind if I take it back to the beginning with Adora and Camille when she's arguing with her about the dress before the dressing room? So what I thought was interesting about that was the dynamic between the three women. We haven't really seen that much of it, minus that one really creepy dollhouse scene where it looked like Amma was having something injected into her, right?
Oh yeah. I forgot
So
about that.
in this one, they're like, she's like, Mama, I need her to read the lines with me. No, yes, no. And it's this like whole sibling rivalry that seems really natural and like something that parents would deal with like an older and a younger child. And then it kind of like redresses to what Camille is wearing and like, oh, this is like a burning house. I need to put it out. My God, let's get out of here and
Seriously.
fix this.
Help her.
Which I thought was cool because it was almost more of like just the nagging normal mom that most people deal with.
I agree. I feel like she was just like, we go, like the going shopping, that's what I kept thinking. Like them in the car going shopping and like, okay, well, let's go get something for you to wear. Felt like, oh, this is how maybe it was in the early days with Marion and her and that dynamic.
Yeah, with the music and just driving there, going on an errand. It felt like the most normal nuclear family that we've seen.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I liked seeing that because it felt, like you said, normal. Like, it, we forgot about everything that's really going on in the town. It's just a family, some women who want to go get a new dress. Granted, there's reasons for that.
But, and for Calhoun Day.
And then it went to hell in high water. Is that the saying?
Hell in a handbasket?
Hell in a handbasket.
That's very Southern saying. Went to hell in a handbasket.
I was trying to remember what it was.
I did like that Adora said, girls only. Did you hear that, Alan?
Yeah, and he sits in the car with his
He's
like
like,
National
"Got it."
Geographic magazine, like so sad.
Which poor Alan. He also had a very like nice moment with Adora at the very top of the episode, and then it was like, yeah, and we're done.
Yeah,
Thanks
she's like,
for zipping my dress. We're done.
Exactly. Thanks for saying I look
very
nice.
submissive.
We're done. So yeah, we're in the dressing room, and the person who's running the store like brings all these like strappy options for Camille to try on, and she knows, and we all know, obviously, she can't wear that because of her scars. But I think maybe Adora didn't know how bad it was until she kept being like, I don't have time for this. I just want to see the dress. And then Camille, I think, out of spite and fear, like ripped open the dressing room curtain to reveal her.
I felt like it was out of pure rage.
And she had no choice because she didn't have any other clothes to.
Oh yeah, Adora took her clothes off?
Or was it Amma? I thought Amma.
I thought it was Amma too. That's why
That's
she
such like a jerk move. I was like, that's Amma still being vindictive.
That's like a little sister dick move, right?
Yeah,
there.
it's the.
That's what I was.
the
I was
immaturity.
Yeah.
Which is
Can
funny.
I say that on air, Tony?
Which is funny,
We
though,
did now.
because Amma talks about being mature and she wasn't friends with the other girls in the end because they're still playing with tents in the woods and things like that.
Yes.
But Amma does these little childish things as well. You know, she's a little girl trying to play. Well,
Yeah, and she still wants, at the end of the day, she wants her sister, to be her sister. I think she still, has that desire. So, so we see all these cuts, which is crazy. I have to know from behind the scenes,
Ooh, wow.
how did they do that to her? I wonder if a lot of it's CGI or...
Yeah, interesting.
It could be makeup. I mean, I've seen a lot of makeup artists put scars on actors.
Yeah.
That's just a lot of time
That's
in
just
the chair.
a lot of work. I'd be
lot of time in
curious
the
to know how
chair.
much time she spent in the chair.
But I mean,
there's
the
only
good-
Sorry.
Sorry, I was just going to say, though, the only good news is that we don't normally see her undressed.
I was going to say that, yeah.
True. So it's not normally
They just
everything.
do it a couple times,
Yeah.
it seems like, yeah.
So when Adora sees her, she says, "Oh my God, you're ruined." And I thought that was
Oh my
so
God.
awful.
I actually teared up at that. I started to, I had a couple tears run down my face because it hit me so hard.
Yes.
To be so emotionally damaged that you cut yourself and then your mother sees how far you've taken the damage and she goes, "You did that out of spite towards me.
Yeah.
You're ruined."
Yeah. How rude. And
Not
she-
rude, how
yeah.
damaging.
And she already mentioned earlier, when they got to the store and the woman running the store hadn't met Camille yet. She mentioned the father. So the
How
father,
did she meet Camille?
the woman who runs the store, I guess, was like, "Who's this lovely?" and she
I
was like,
missed that
"Oh."
part.
She gets her coloring from her father.
Yeah.
And then in the dressing room says your father was all spite, and that's who he was. That's what
Yeah,
she
we
got
heard
it
a
from.
lot about her
father.
father,
Yes.
even though we don't really know who he is, but
Yes, we don't know who he
kind
is.
of another mysterious figure.
Oh, I can't wait to
running
hear
around
more.
out there, yeah.
And then Amma, when they get home, I think Amma really did feel bad. She didn't know, she when she took the clothes, she didn't know what would happen. And so she says, my friend is like you and does that to herself, basically. She says the cut's already there and the knife just lets it out.
Do you know what?
That's so interesting.
I actually wrote to myself, I was like, I don't know if I believe her anymore.
Who, Amma?
Amma, yeah, her scene with Camille, post the cutting, finding out that her sister's a serious cutter.
Yeah.
And why ask her to stay in the very next breath? I felt like it was another manipulation tactic. Like the way Amma has described that she manipulates her mother into thinking that she's a sweet girl. I feel like she's trying to do the same thing to Camille.
Oh, yeah.
I no longer trust the words that come out of this girl's
I
mouth.
don't trust her either.
Same page, high five.
I want to believe her,
Yeah.
and she's such a great actress, and so I am believing the character when she's saying that she's sorry, but I'm like, but no, it's Amma.
No, yeah, I believe the
don't-
character.
Yeah, I just I don't trust her.
She's
She is so good, though.
She's a mind F word.
Yes.
Because I can't figure her out. I can't
she's-
figure her out because she does ask her to stay because you can tell that Camille's packing her bags and she's like, you know what, I'm out of here.
But for
I've
what
revealed so much.
reason?
Because I think she's just revealed too much. I think her mother is now seeing how bad it is, and and that's why she calls her editor, and she's like, I'm a bad person, and he's like, no, you're decent, and she says she feels like a bad person when she's there with her mother. So and then she wants to leave, but like you're saying,
Well,
Amma
because
tries
all
to
the
convince her
things
to
that
stay.
she hates about herself come to her mind, what she did in that town, what she did with those boys, what she did with herself, with her body, the choices that she made. I feel like all of it drowns her.
Yeah.
So when she says, I'm a bad person, I'm not decent, I think she meant she's not quote unquote normal, whatever people's ideology of normal is, where you put the dress on and you have the one boyfriend and you don't cut yourself and you have this little cookie cutter life, and she's not cookie cutter.
No,
But she takes
not at
that as a
all.
negative into herself, and you see it in the expression on her body with all the cuts on her skin.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of
Right?
negative words and everything.
Which
so.
I've got some words on that later from Gillian Flynn herself. Is it Gillian or Gillian?
Gillian.
From Gillian
I was
Flynn herself.
second guessing that. I was like, I think it's Gillian. Gillian. So we now are on to Calhoun Day.
Calhoun Day.
I love the
Every time I hear Calhoun, I think of The Notebook. Am I alone here?
No. Oh my god. I forgot. Noah Calhoun. Oh gosh, The Notebook. Let's just take a second.
Totally different topic.
Can we do an after show
About The Notebook.
Just bring it back up.
Take it
I
back
know,
up.
amazing that movie is. So I love that Detective Willis talks about Calhoun Day he's like, oh, it's like silent racism because it's just so many Confederate
Because he
flags.
said Confederate, and she goes, we don't say the C word around these
That's
parts.
right, we don't say
And
the
he goes,
C word.
Right. silent racism.
I'm glad that everybody
true.
is aware of that.
Oh, yeah. Well, we learn a little bit of backstory on Calhoun Day because Detective Willis basically asks, and Camille, tells him what it's about. And it's like this terrible story of this woman who would not give up her husband. And so she was essentially like raped by all these Union soldiers and she refused to talk. And that was
Lost
supposed to be
baby.
Yeah, lost her baby. And that was supposed to be like a pride thing, right? Like Millie Calhoun was
she
supposed
didn't
to be
give up the info on her husband.
Yeah, and where he was. She was very loyal, and that was the whole message.
Right. The end.
And that's what we celebrate today, is just a woman getting raped by multiple men.
Miscarrying, but she didn't say where he was. What a hero.
I know. Well, exactly. What a hero. She endured pain. But doesn't that feel like kind of the like metaphor for the town? Like, just these women
who can endure the most pain? For the men, too. I feel like all of them are just like in this cycle of pain. Sorry, I'm running off on a tangent.
No, that's okay. That's okay. So everybody at the Calhoun Day, I feel like, is just talking about other people. Like the older ladies are talking about Adora, and it's like, oh, there's our host, and she's the queen of everyone. Come to my house, but nobody, please come in. Nobody come inside.
Come to my house, but not really.
Yeah, I don't
stay outside.
I don't really want you here. And then Jackie makes this comment that I love, saying, "Those Krellin girls sure like their boys with badges."
Yeah, I wrote that one down too.
What do you guys think that means? Because we already see a lot of Chief Vickery and Adora. We've already seen that leading up to this.
Super vindicated in my assumption about the affair. I was like, I'm not the only one who caught on.
I was trying to also make a connection between Amma and somebody, but I didn't quite figure out that link. Yeah.
Well, I think she sometimes looks at Detective Willis like
maybe like an authority.
Yeah, because she's like Dickie and Camille sitting in a tree or whatever. She said maybe she's got a crush.
I still haven't ruled the teacher out.
Oh yeah, so Mr. Lacey's there, and he has an interesting moment.
That's a different type of government badge.
Yeah, that's true. He has this weird like interaction with Camille, and there's a quick flash. If you seriously blinked, you missed it. Of them when they're younger in the woods. And
which made me think he was one of the football players.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why she stood so far from him. Did you notice the distance?
Yeah.
And her whole demeanor looked like the blood rushed from her face when she had to talk to him.
Yeah, it was like she felt very
defensive,
like clenched and like tightened up. And she was like, well, it's good to see you. And he's like, I've been thinking about you. I'm like, damn, what did Camille do to these boys back then? Like she was a popular girl in that sense. But that's what I think Chief Vickery meant by like telling Detective Willis, you don't know her. Like you don't know. There's a lot that you don't know.
Maybe because she wasn't with just one guy, so she was always the unattainable girl, and that's the big, like, secret in a way because she was.
Was she slutty? Was she?
Yeah, girl. I think we picked up on that like a while ago. Like she got around, but she didn't like commit to any one person. Do you know what I mean?
Picked up on that.
I never had that. I never had that impression. Yeah.
That she was slutty?
Yeah, I never got that impression. And also when she said like I don't do boyfriends.
I don't think she's slutty. I think that she has sex without any attachment.
Yeah, and she makes that clear.
Yeah, she had like a lot of sex with no attachment, but not in the like I can get it, but in like this.
I thought you were talking about when she was younger.
No, I am talking about when she was younger because I think it started after her sister died.
Okay, but we don't have actual proof of that, right?
No, that's what I'm wondering if they're like everybody in the town is alluding that she was like a bad girl in that sense,
right?
Or are they just saying there's stuff you don't know about her, but not relating to her sexual?
Right. Well, I thought that the whole story about the wood area was that big revelation. She told him.
Yeah, and she obviously is very turned on by all those bondage pictures we talked about. So I think there is something with her sexuality that we just don't quite know.
Whoa, that shack is so close to their house. Hello.
Yeah.
That was okay. We'll come back to. I'm putting a pin in that. We're coming back to it.
Yeah, I didn't. That's a good point. I definitely want to bring that back up. So
I felt the vomit a little in the back of my throat when I realized how close that shack is to their house. I thought they were driving out to it in the middle of the woods, and this was like some kind of like a bike trip that her and her sister took.
No,
it's right there.
They probably just took some flashlights through the woods.
EBGBs all
also
around.
How quick she is to just make a break for it and go to the cabin.
Yeah, that's true. And maybe they take the golf cart out because remember they crashed. Amma crashed the golf cart into the rose bushes.
Either way, it is way too close to their house.
So
how has that not been burned down? How does their mother not know about it?
See, I don't know.
Maybe
what
she does know about it, and that's I thought.
I don't see Adora walking into the woods.
Adora is
with
crazy.
her embroidered dress.
No.
Well, Adora at this was an interesting scene when the chief and his wife walked up and said hello to Adora, and there was like, I feel like Chief Vickery like dropped his arm or something, like didn't put his arm around his wife anymore.
No, he didn't. I noticed that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he was like, and then his wife was like, "You look beautiful as always." That was sad.
Yeah.
Do you think she knows that there's some history between them?
No, girl.
Yeah, she seems pretty.
I think she's in the dark
Obvious.
purposely.
Yeah.
Love is blind.
Yes.
Don't be blind. You got to tell him bye. Commit or quit.
I'm gonna make him bacon every morning, and that's my duty, and that's all I'm gonna do.
Oh, we got a lot of flack from
I'd make
that
myself
last
bacon and
week.
sit
Oh,
there
really?
and watch him like, so where were you last night? This is all mine. Until you start answering.
Yeah. Why did we get flagged for the bacon?
The comments about the
Oh, yeah.
South and
People were mad that we didn't appreciate her making him breakfast.
Yeah.
No, I do. I just feel like his arteries are
do.
gonna like.
Yeah, I
close
think we were
out.
misunderstood a little bit.
No, I was
yeah.
just saying like that is a damn good Southern breakfast to have
Yeah.
every morning, and I'm surprised he hasn't had a hard
Well,
defense.
people were mad because they were like, that's an American breakfast.
Right.
You can find eggs and
That's
bacon
true.
anywhere. Stop being
Yeah.
so anti. And I was
Right.
like, look,
That's true.
I speak for the whole panel when I say I think all of us here think it's really sweet to cook your significant other
Oh, absolutely.
breakfast. We think that that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Whether you're making it or having it made for you. But in that instance, we felt that she's repressed, and that's like one of her avenues of expression to try and connect with her husband. And it's really
Yeah.
sad that he's totally cheating on her.
Well, it just seemed very routine, and that she was
Right,
doing
right,
like
yes.
feeding him all day long
Yes.
while he was
Right.
longing for somebody else.
And in our defense, I watched an hour-long panel with Gillian Flynn and the entire cast, and she did say that this is a Southern Gothic novel, and she is commenting on Southern culture and other areas, not just the South, also other areas that she feels are kind of like encapsulated in a moment in time, and they haven't moved forward. So that's something, and I'll share it with you guys in the comments. But we were just picking up on what the author herself had written, and it's in an interview, so you guys can watch it. And please, like, angry tweet her because we were just the messengers.
Yes, sorry
Glad
guys.
we could clear that up.
Sorry, guys.
Thanks, everyone. We appreciate you watching.
We do really appreciate it.
Yes, wait, I love all the comments.
Yes.
Any good conversation could be had.
And
And I
we-
lived
and
in
we
the
read
South. I
them.
lived in Nashville. So
Same. Not
yes.
Nashville. I lived in Virginia, but yeah.
Yeah, that's a little more Southern. Nashville is like not as Southern anymore. So Adora takes Detective Willis inside the house, and I couldn't decide if she was doing this like to spite Camille. Because she keeps seeing Camille talk to him, and it's like, oh no, is she gonna fall for like a detective type like I did maybe? Because we don't really know yet what happened with Chief Vickery. And
I just
Adora.
feel like Adora is a meddler.
Yeah, she's like, wait a second, I need to pick your brain, detective, and she was very sweet to him.
Control.
Yeah,
She wants him on her side. There's nothing sweet about Adora.
yeah.
This is an act.
But I feel like she wanted to show off the house to him, like big city boy. Let me show you like the history behind this land and this house. And I thought it was really cool. I was like, I want to learn
I
all
thought
about
it was really
this.
cool.
I mean, she had these ivory floors. She's like, that's before we knew what.
I actually really
smuggling
like
was.
the wallpaper where it
Oh,
was
yes.
hand painted on the silk, which I thought was really
From
cool.
Paris, she says.
Yeah.
From Paris, of course. So after she gives him this tour, she kind of dives into Camille and says she's a rare rose, but not without thorns. So there's another warning. Chief Vickery warning 1, Adora warning 2.
I thought Adora liked her roses with thorns.
I know, because
So.
yes, but they pricked her in her hand, and she still
Exactly.
acts like she's in so much pain.
You girls made me bleed. I just feel like Adora does not know how to love Camille, and anytime it looks like Camille might have like an inkling of happiness, she swoops in to ruin it.
Yeah, I think she wanted Camille to see her with him, like, oh, I'm charming him. Let me.
He'll like me more, take my side.
Yeah,
Tell
we-
him how awful you are.
We
Yeah.
have 2 live chatters. They just said the exact same thing.
Oh,
Aaliyah
awesome.
Jordan says Adora just wants to ruin Camille, and Amy Butterhouse says Adora was sabotaging Camille.
Yeah. Oh,
I
100%.
love Aaliyah. You comment every week. Thank you so
Yes.
much, girl.
Yes.
You are like on it. I love your commentary and all your comments after our episode airs too. Thank you.
Thank you, Leah.
Yes.
So we also see this flashback of this like elaborate photo shoot that was done in this ivory room. And then when they walk out of the room, we see a flash of the article that was written about, it was called like Ivory and Lace, or
It was called Legacy and Ivory.
Legacy and Ivory.
And
Yeah.
Camille's not in the photo.
No, she's not.
It's just Marion and Adora. Camille also wasn't dressed like Marion was, so she was
Yeah.
never even going to be in the photo. But why?
So interesting.
Is it because she wasn't married when she had Camille, so she was only showing off her like
Legacy.
perfect married
Right, yeah.
family that carries
Maybe.
on the name?
Well, yeah, because if it's called Legacy and Ivory, then that's
Well,
so...
Alan's not even in it. It's just Adora and
Well, yeah, I guess because Marion
Marion.
would be her legacy, like
Yeah.
who would inherit everything eventually.
Which is sick because Camille's still her daughter.
shows
But
she's
she just-
always been secluded or excluded.
Well, yeah,
I should
because she
say.
had muddy shoes on the ivory floor, and I thought Adora was going to have a heart attack.
She did.
When
and the
yeah,
guy
she's
was, it's fine. Look, it's clean.
She's like, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. So after that whole situation, there's Bob Nash has been drinking the whole day. He's there. Obviously, the whole town is there at this
I just had
Calhoun
a
day.
thought. Sorry.
Yeah,
I
go
was
for it.
thinking Adora. If I had to choose between Mommy Dearest, if you guys have ever seen that film about Joan Crawford, is that who it's about?
Yes.
I believe so.
Yes.
And Adora, I'll take Joan Crawford whooping me with a wire hanger any day because I'll take a beating over this emotional like
Abuse.
abuse any day. The bruises will go away. Jeez.
Yeah, she definitely like digs in there. So where was I at? Oh, Bob Nash. So Bob Nash is drunk at the Calhoun Fest, and so everybody's watching this Calhoun Day play that Amma was in, where she plays Millie Calhoun, the woman that didn't tell on her husband and then got raped by a bunch of soldiers. So while that's going on, Bob Nash starts to beat up John Keene because he had told Detective Willis earlier, like, there's your guy right there. So it's still like everybody still thinks in the town
Yeah.
it's one or the other.
Just finger pointing. Tensions are so high. Everyone's just focusing on them.
The
Yes.
drinking did not help.
No.
The drinking did not help. And everybody was watching everyone so closely. It was like Chief Vickery was watching Bob Nash and John Keene, and then
I thought Chief Victory was just watching Adora the whole time.
And
It was, like,
Adora.
zoomed in on
Yeah.
her butt.
yeah, it was very creepy. And then Amma was on stage, and you see
Watching Camille.
Yeah, but you see a flash of her take some ecstasy with the boy that's in the play with her. So her eyes are all like. Did you notice that they were like?
Oh yeah, she
Black.
was rolling.
Oh yeah, she was rolling. She was just like, "What's going on?" But all she could focus on was Camille talking to the detective.
Yeah.
What do you guys think she was thinking?
I was trying to figure it out. I was really having a moment where I was like, man, I wish I had siblings to better understand this, because is this what sibling like attention looks like? Like when you want your siblings' approval? Was that like a real moment for her because she was rolling? So then what she really wanted came through? What do you
Maybe.
think?
I don't know. I have a lot of siblings and never had anything
Yeah.
interesting like this before, so I can't say that.
But like,
helps
have you
in
ever
this
been on
instance.
stage and you notice your siblings not paying attention to you? Like, is that
Well, I
Right?
think it just goes to show, like, she's on stage. Everybody is there watching her, and yet she still doesn't feel like she has enough attention.
Or power.
or power, or anything. You know, it's she needs so much just affirmation, and maybe it was that these two people aren't watching either, and maybe it would have been different if they were watching. But you know, also
Yeah.
she's obviously very interested in the case and what's going on.
True.
So she's maybe thinking about that as well.
Yeah, and did you guys notice a little nugget, a little Easter egg? Live chatters, you can tell me that John Capizzi kid kept coming and stealing things. Did you guys see him?
Oh, yeah.
He was the one who stole
And I watched
the,
it twice.
Oh, I didn't realize
Yeah.
that it was John Capizzi.
Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting. I
Wait,
noticed
what was he
like
stealing?
He stole like a bottle,
drink.
like a drink, and then you see him at the end when Amma runs out.
Yeah.
That you see him like
Yeah.
with his bag, like a grocery bag.
yeah.
So I thought that was
completely
interesting.
missed that. What a
Because it was
good
like
eye.
it was like the poor kid coming
Yeah.
in and like
'Cause
all
he
these
did it
rich
in-
people.
He did it in front of Detective Willis, you know, and he just kind of watches him go by.
Yeah.
He sees him do it, but
Anyway, I thought that was interesting. So then Amma gets so pissed that, or so rolling on ecstasy that
I
she
thought
just like
she was
pieces
so
out.
mad, and it was like a combination of like drugs and rage that made her run off.
Yeah, but I don't know if she had a plan or if she's just like, I want to get away from here because I'm probably feeling all messed up.
She got her attention.
Yeah, so she ran and everyone freaks out. Adora's like panic attack, crying
That's the most
hysterically.
emotion we've ever seen from
yeah.
Adora.
She was like
Holy
crawling
cow.
over the edge of the porch, like hysterical. It was
like,
so crazy. So Camille finds her in the hunting shed because I think she had, obviously known that's
sorry.
where she plays.
I just had a thought
So, yeah.
before we move on. When she was hysterical like that, I also thought that was like a petty sibling moment when Camille was like, well, she probably has her other phone.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that because
yeah.
I was like, that is petty, Camille. You are a grown woman. What do you do? Stop it. Stop.
Never. It's all for Mama's attention, you know? So then Adora and Camille have this drink because after Amma's found and she's put to sleep and, you know, everybody's fussing over her, Adora's like, have a drink with me, Camille. I was like, oh, this ain't gonna be good. Mm-mm. And this is where we hear her talk about her father again. So I think he's gonna creep back in because Adora basically says your father is the reason why I didn't love you. Mm-hmm. I couldn't love you. So what do you guys think he did?
When she looked at Camille and said, you were born cold and I was unable to love you, I was like, there's not enough therapy or drugs in the world.
She said that's why I wanted to apologize because initially Camille thinks that it's about the article, but she's like, that's why I wanted to apologize because I didn't love you.
Oh, that was so haunting and creepy.
Well, but she doesn't even take ownership of not loving her own daughter. She dumps it on her daughter.
Of course.
By saying you were born, a baby is not born cold.
Well, she's kind of like, I just wanted you to know.
I hope that gives you some comfort.
That this is why. So that sparks Camille to run straight to Detective Willis's hotel room. And she gets inside. They're hot and heavy within 5 seconds. And then all of a sudden she's like wanting to sleep with him, but not take her clothes off, obviously, if she turns the lights off. She doesn't want him to see anything, but pulls her pants down enough to where they start, you know, having sex. But she's, you know, he tries to keep undressing her and she's like, no, my way.
My way.
We're going to do it my way. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm amazed that he can't, like, feel any bumps on her. Mm-hmm. Like, is she ever going to tell him?
Maybe he chooses
a sweater
not to.
But and then when we zoom in, we see the title of the episode, Closer.
Oh, I thought it said Loser.
It said Closer on her hip.
I saw Loser as well, but you're right. We just missed the C part. So.
What do you guys think? Is he ever going to find out?
So I wanted to, I don't know if he'll find out, but I think he will, but I wanted to comment on something Gillian Flynn said. I watched this really cool hour-long interview again. I'll post it down below so you guys can watch it. It's with everyone. And Gillian said that all of the words written on Camille's skin are a reflection of her demons and what torture her, words that suffocate her. So, like, she has certain words that her mother would say to her growing up, and it was like this suffocation of her personality and her self-expression. So it's a mix of things that hold her back with things that also torture her. Like,
interesting.
Yeah, which I thought was really interesting. And those are the words that Camille chooses to carve into her skin. And a lot of them are common phrases that you would say in the South because they were all meant to repress her. And she carved them into herself.
Oh, I just feel for her so much. Well, that is pretty much everything that happened this episode. And we're going to have a lot more to say in predictions, but I want to get to our lovely special segment, the Feminist Chronicles.
Where's my extra?
Usually we have an extra.
Dang it, Tony.
Okay, well that was the little jingle.
You were beautiful.
Thank you. So, what do we have to say about Margaret Burke White?
So Margaret Burke White is actually one of the very first photojournalists. She also did some writing, but she's most famous for her photojournalism. So she was a photographer who shot the very first ever cover of Life magazine in 1936.
Wow.
She was also among the first women to report on wars, and she first gained recognition as an industrial photographer in the 1920s based in Cleveland, Ohio. Margaret hailed from New York City and would return later on. So she arrived to Ohio in 1927 and is quoted as saying, "I stood on the deck to watch the city come into view. As the skyline took form in the morning mist, I felt I was coming to my promised land."
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Columns of machinery gaining height as we drew towards the pier, derricks swinging like living creatures, and deep inside I knew that these were my subjects. Her pioneering photographs of the steel mills and the steel mill interiors came to the attention of Henry Luce. So he would eventually bring her to New York to work on Fortune, which was a magazine drenched in the romance of industry, and later on Henry Luce would have her as one of the 4 founding photographers of Life magazine. And also, Margaret was relentless photographer, and she really worked on showcasing the humanity within news reporting, specifically in wars. She actually was the last person to interview and photograph Mahatma Gandhi before his assassination in India. And in 1941, she was the only American photographer on the ground in Moscow during the battle for Moscow.
That's incredible.
Yep. She's quoted as saying that no picture was ever unimportant to her. And she started the first photo lab at Life magazine, and her photos are currently displayed in museums around the country. And her photos worked to humanize the news. So if you guys want to know more about Margaret, be sure to check her out. You can actually go see her work in museums. And Time magazine did a piece on her in 2016, so you can Google her and get all the facts.
Awesome. So that's Margaret Burke White. If you guys
Really, Tony?
that was supposed to be 2 minutes ago, but yes. Awesome. Well, thank you, Carolina, for
Thank
that.
you.
And thank you, Margaret, for your amazing work. Some news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
We'll make it a quick one. So Amy Adams was on Late Night with Seth Meyers this week, and she talked about being fired from some jobs early on in her career. And she's quoted as saying, "One, I was bad. I mean, I was way too young." She also said that she was fired for not being sexy enough. And
What?
Rob Lowe writes about it in his book, and she says, "They were right. I was not sexy enough. They were right." So
Interesting.
yeah, and look how far she's come. So
Seriously.
we love
We love you, Amy.
Amy Adams, and I mean she's sexy in this one. I mean, in a different kind of way, you know.
I just think she's a beautiful
Yeah.
woman. I don't. But maybe when she was young, she just wasn't
Right,
comfortable.
right. And then
I can't picture her not being beautiful. I feel like that's in her head.
So Jean-Marc Vallée did an interview for HBO, and he was talking about the filming of Sharp Objects. He said there's no storyboard, there's no shot list, there's no mark, no reflector to reflect the light. We're not blocking the light. Therefore, they can go wherever they go. It's just on the day being creative with the actors. It's all about the actors and the storytelling.
Wow.
So that's incredible that they really shoot on the fly, and it shows in, you know, the series. It's
As
real,
a director,
it's
that
natural.
sounds terrifying
Yes.
to me, but also extremely exhilarating and cool.
And then quickly, I found a cool fan art poster on Reddit.
Ooh.
This was by the Usher 88, and it shows the silhouette of Camille in the outline of a razor blade with, of course,
Oh, wow.
her
Oh, wow.
childhood home. And I thought this was a really cool fan art poster. And lastly, there was a tweet by Amy Avkar, and she said, "Imagine if Rachel McAdams had played the detective on Sharp Objects, the power that would have had." I thought that was
Camille would have
interesting.
also been a lesbian.
Yeah, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Rachel McAdams and I love Spotlight. That's
Yeah.
what that looks like. That's what that picture's
Right,
from. But,
right. But I thought that was interesting
Yeah.
to think about.
But I think Amy Adams is doing a wonderful job. So
Love it.
I like seeing her in this role.
No, I thought. Wait, as the detective, I thought that she meant as
Oh,
the
did they-
guy, like
oh.
the detective.
Oh,
not
that's
right,
what they
right.
mean.
Guys,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh my
not,
gosh.
Not
yes.
without Amy. But
I was like, is she
in-
taking Amy's job?
No,
Wow.
in compliment to so not as the journalist, but as the guy, as
That
the
would've
detective.
been
Then it would have been a
cool.
lesbian
And that's why
thing,
I was
what
like,
you're
oh,
saying.
well, she would have also been a man. That would have been even way more to unpack with her mother.
Oh,
would
The
be
South,
cool.
could you
That-
imagine?
Okay.
Bless.
We get you now.
Yes.
I like that comparison. That would have been awesome.
What a dynamic pairing, though. I'd love to see Rachel and Amy in those
Two
like
great actresses.
roles. Which Rachel actually recently did a lesbian themed film with Rachel Weisz.
Yes.
Called Disobedience.
Yeah, I
if you
hear
want to
it's
check it
great.
out. Yeah.
Well, we have some time to do some predictions for next week.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
So we only have
dun,
3
dun.
episodes left in the series, and this is at the point in Big Little Lies, I remember, where stuff started to get really heated and moving a lot quicker. So, girls, Heather, you want to start with what you think is going to happen?
Yes, I want some facts in this case. We see in the trailer that they find a bike in the lake. So I think we're going to get some new information on that, which I'm really excited about. And hopefully people will stop obsessing over Bob Nash and John King.
Yes. Move on to somebody else.
I'm starting to doubt my idea that Alan is the killer. It's becoming too easy, especially with the creepy shack so close to their house. I don't know. I think it was a woman. Like, it's really pushing me towards women.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of spite. and towards women, and because they're female victims. I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
I think a lot more with Jackie is going to be
Yes.
revealed, and a lot more about Camille's dad. I think maybe he is a key piece in this case, or
Yes.
in her past, and why she is the way she is, as Adora said. So I hope we get to know a little bit more about some of these other characters that we have not learned too much about so far. And that is our show, everybody. Ladies, where can we find you on social media? Miss Heather.
You can find me at 500 Days of Heather on Instagram.
Hey guys, I'm Carolina Benetti. You can find me at Carolina Benetti on Twitter, LenaBean113 on Instagram, and I did the unproduced table read this week on Popcorn Talk. So be sure to YouTube it or download it on iTunes. We did a pilot called Charon. Check it out. It's really cool. It's with Jeff Graham, Roxy Stryer. Check it out.
Very cool. And you guys can find me on Twitter at LesliePowers15 and on Instagram at LMPowers15. And we will see you next week for episode 6. Thank you guys so much. Please keep commenting, like, subscribe, rate us on iTunes. We love you guys so much. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.